Welcome to Jazz Time. Jazz Time is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Patek Philippe Calatrava Pilot Travel Time. Reference 5524G-001. It's in white gold and has a blue dial. I'm going to talk to you about the bezel, the dial, the case, the bracelet, the movement, try it on, give you a little bit of history and my thoughts. So let's start. This watch is from the Complications section of Patek Philippe. Patek makes grand complications which are usually over $100,000 and they have at least a perpetual calendar. Then they make this next line, which is the Complications, which, as the name implies, has a bunch of different complications, and this is one of them. They also make the Aquanaut line, and they also make the Nautilus line, and they have a few others here and there, but now let's talk about the Complications section, and this is the Pilot watch. Now, to give you a little bit of history, a little bit of reference, this modern Pilot is the first modern Pilot, which was made back in 2015, and let me remind you that that was 8 years ago. The making of this video was in 2023, so 2015, the modern Patek was... So, in 2015, the modern Patek Pilot was not out yet. They were still releasing some very old-school-looking Pateks, like the 5146, and I forgot the other one's name, the 5960. Those were some very old-school-looking Pateks, and they didn't really look that great, to be honest, and that's probably why they phased them out. The Pilot was revolutionary at the time. When it was released in 2015, it was released with this exact configuration, white gold with a blue dial. And it kind of blew everything else out of the water. It was the first time Patek had made a Complications that wasn't super dressy. You can tell that because it was released on a calfskin strap, which usually when you make a very dressy watch, you would release it on a crocodile leather. And that's what Patek was doing. But in this situation, Patek was trying to appeal to a younger audience, I believe, and then they released the Pilot watch, which was a much more casual watch. Yes, it was still a very complicated mechanism, but in terms of look, it was a much more casual-looking watch. Not too sporty like the Aquanaut or the Nautilus line, leave the sports thing to those guys, the Aquanaut and the Nautilus. But they wanted to make a Complications that wasn't so stuffy, that you didn't have to wear it with a suit, that you could wear with jeans and a t-shirt, casual wear. Of course, it is still nice, maybe a sports blazer or something like that, but still not a tuxedo. And they succeeded. And this was really the start of that casual yet elegant line that Patek has grown and has been releasing every year thereafter. So this is the start of it, from this Pilot's watch. And it was talked about massively when it was released in 2015 at the Basel. Okay, now let's talk about it for a little bit. At the time when it was released, 42mm was massive for Patek. They were used to making something around 39 or 38mm, so the jump to something this huge for them, for Patek, 42mm was a huge jump. It was massive, kind of like a monster watch for them. Now, 42 is kind of now a normal size. Yes, it is a big watch, but it's not overly big by Patek standards now. It is a big watch though, and at the time it was released, it was massive. So they had never released a dress watch in the Complications line quite this big. Yes, in the Grand Complications they do, because the Grand Complications have so many complications that they have to make the case bigger sometimes, but... Okay, anyways, this was a very large Complications, and it was the first of its kind. So it's 42mm, and that's from my thumb to my index finger. That's the 8 o'clock to the 2 o'clock position, the longest distance across the bezel. And going up and down, meaning from 12 to 6, it measures 50mm from lug to lug, and that's a very good size for a watch. Again, not overly big, but it should cover up the wrist for most men, and this watch should definitely be worn by men. I would say those who have a wrist probably approximately 7 inches or larger, that comes out to about 160 pounds or larger. If you have that size of a wrist, then you can definitely easily wear a 42mm watch. If you don't have a 7-inch wrist, what I do suggest is that you go for a 37, which of course, if you want to buy that one, we have it at jazztime.com. And the reason I say that is because 37mm would look better for those who have a wrist size under 7 inches, which would usually be people who are less than 160 pounds. Anyways, let's talk about this one, which is 42mm. For those who have a larger wrist, at least a medium to large 7-inch wrist. Okay, and what is spectacular about this watch? Now, most always, you would put the pushers on the right-hand side. I can't really think of any other watch, at least not many other watches, that put the pushers on the left-hand side. Now, what are these pushers? Okay, I'm going to go through them in a little bit when I talk about the dial, but let's just say normally on a chronograph, you would put them on the right. This is not a chronograph, it is a travel time, so they put it on the left. And not only that, you can unscrew them like this, as you see, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. You can loosen it and then press it back in, and then you can screw it back down. And the reason for that is that the hands don't move unless you want them to. So you unscrew them, press it, you screw them back in, and then it doesn't move by mistake. All right, so that is the case. It's 42mm, and it's all made in white gold. Now, they did release in 2015 in white gold with blue dial, and I think that's a perfect combination. But in 2020, 5 years later, they again surprised everybody by releasing this in rose gold with a brown dial. And of course, if you want to buy that configuration, we also have that at jazztime.com. And if you want to buy this one, obviously, we have it at jazztime.com. Okay, so they released those two configurations of it, and that was 8 years ago and 3 years ago. And now, I guess I could also say that the Pilot line was so successful for Patek that they actually released another Pilot just this year in 23. And that Pilot that they released this year is a very similar one to this. It's the 5924, and it's a Calatrava Pilot travel time chronograph. It adds the word chronograph to it. So it's the exact same thing, except it adds the feature of a chronograph, which they put the pushers on the right-hand side instead of the left, and there's also another sub-dial. Here, there's only that one. And so it has a very similar look to it. And, by the way, you can buy that one as well at jazztime.com, and you can see that they actually do look very similar. The only difference really is the pushers and that sub-dial. Anyways, so the case is all made of white gold. The pushers are in a very unique position. Okay, let's talk about the dial. Now, the dial is blue varnished and has gold-applied numerals with luminescent coating. Now, what all that actually means, this is what they call a pilot's travel time. So, for obvious reason, pilots, or those who are traveling, would want to wear it. And if you're traveling, let's say you're in an airplane or you're traveling, well, you will likely need to see your watch at nighttime. So I have to say that this Pilot has the best luminescence of any Patek. No other one has better. This is the best. Check this illumination out. I pushed this flashlight on it. I flash it on, and you can see the numbers are just massive. You can read this watch at any time. The illumination is just humongous and is very, very legible at night. And I think that they had to do that on purpose. For example, for pilots or those in a dark place because you're traveling and you need to see what time it is, or maybe jet lag or whatever it is, you're going to need to see your watch at night, and it's a fantastic practical feature. Okay, and let me just briefly show you how the dial works a little bit because it's actually an ingenious system. Now, what I'm going to do on the left-hand side where it says local, it's blue, and I'm going to put it to 1010, okay? And then I'm going to put the home one, which is on the right. It's this skeletonized hour hand, and I'm going to put it to 4 o'clock. So on the left-hand side, it'll be local time, and let's just put that to 1010 right now. Now, what I'll do on this bottom one is I'll unscrew the bottom one, and then when I press it, it goes forward. Now, I keep on pressing it until I get to 6. And once I get to 6 o'clock, that's 6 a.m., right? Now I'm moving on all the way to 12, that's noon, and I'll keep going till 3, and you can see it's still white on the left-hand side, and that means it's daytime where I'm at. And then once I get to 6 p.m., it starts to turn blue again. And that's, of course, it's now 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., because it's all blue. Now, once I pass 12, what you'll see is the date at the very bottom, it'll move over 1 tick. So let's do that. 11, boom, 12. So it just popped over like it's supposed to. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show you how to set, that's the local time. So let's say you're an American, but you're visiting Asia. So you would like the local time with the hands that you see, but you would also want to know what time it is at home, okay? So let me pull out the crown one more. Now, the way you set the home time, it was at 4. I'm going to set it, okay, let's scroll through. Now let's see how it's starting to turn blue. And that means at home, it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10, 11, 12, midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And you can see that on the right-hand side because it's blue luminescence. And you can see that on the right-hand side, it's still blue because it's nighttime. 4 a.m., now I press 6 a.m., and you can see that the light starts up again. White means it's 7 a.m. in the USA, for example. Makes sense? And yeah, that's how you tell. So the big hand is the local time, and the skeletonized hand is what would be at your house. And I just think that's a very ingenious system. And let me remind you, by the way, well, that's the dial. The dial uses this very interesting sword hands, which I think is a very nice nod, and it gives it this sort of vintage look. I just think it looks fantastic. I just think it's a fantastic looking dial, and it looks so different from the other Pateks. Now, let's go ahead and talk. Oh, I forgot to talk about this case. Okay, hold on. The case I just told you is 42 millimeters. I forgot to say, when actually you turn the watch on its side, you know what? You would be surprised that this watch is not even 11 millimeters. Considering how much it does, it tells the date, it has dual time, it has night and day function, it tells quite a bit, and it's under 11 millimeters. If you compare that to a Rolex, for example, a Rolex day date is 12 millimeters. That's bigger, and it doesn't do half as much stuff. So you get the profile or the thickness. So the profile or the thickness is fantastic. It's no surprise that Patek could figure out how to pack so much information and complications into such a thin package. Okay, moving on now, I swear. Talking about the movement. The movement is a 26330 SCFUS. It has a diameter of 31 millimeters and a thickness of 4.82. It has 290 parts, which is honestly about average. I can't say that it's massive. 600 is a massive amount, but 290, that's about normal. It has a power reserve of approximately 35 to 45, and it has excellent features that you would imagine a Patek Philippe would have. It has a 21 karat gold central rotor. Now, I mean, it looks like a beautiful Patek. What can I say? The movement, you can see through the back, exhibition style. So, I don't know. It looks amazing. What I can say, by the way, is that this actual movement is the same. The exact same movement. Literally, the exact same movement that fits into the Aquanaut Travel Time reference 5164. So they use the same movement, but they change it to a different case, which is pretty cool. Okay, so that is the movement. Now the strap. Not a whole lot to say. Well, actually, it is kind of a lot to say, actually. The strap is a leather strap. Now, of course, you can change it to whatever kind of strap you want, but it comes on a leather strap and a calfskin leather strap. And as I said in the beginning, when a Patek comes out on a calf strap, they are trying to tell you that this is a casual watch, not a formal watch. If they want to make a formal watch, they would put it on a crocodile strap. When they want to make it casual, they'll put it on either a calfskin or a suede calfskin. And that will signify if it's a casual watch. And you can just look down on your own eyes and you can tell that it's a casual watch. So I think that's pretty cool. You know what? Let me show you the stitching on this strap. You don't really see this. I haven't really seen this on any other Pateks. Look at this cross stitching on the end here, right by the buckle here. It has this cross stitching. It looks very interesting. Although it's interesting, you can actually kind of cover it up when you close it. But that's the kind of attention to detail that you can get from Patek. And I also like the way the pin buckle is. I'm glad that they didn't do a deployment. They did a pin buckle, and that gives it a very casual look to it as well. I just think that the execution on this is just fantastic. And I like the way that the buckles sit. I mean, it's so very interesting. It's not like they just strapped on any buckle on here. They use a generic one. No. I think they really went and designed a buckle just for this watch. I haven't seen this buckle on any other ones. Anyways, but that's the strap and the buckle. Now, let me try this on and give you my thoughts. So I kind of gave you my thoughts throughout this whole video. Anyways, I am 6 feet tall, I weigh 200 pounds, and this 42mm watch looks absolutely perfect on me. My wrist size is 7.5 inches. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Patek. My two favorite brands are Patek and Audemars. I love those two brands. I think they're the best in the world. And this Patek, it's what started this entire contemporary casual look that Patek has got, so I think it just looks fantastic. I think it's a very versatile watch. It can be worn with a lot of things. For really casual, you could wear jeans, you could wear a sports coat, you could wear a polo shirt, and you'll still look very nice, but you won't look so dressy. And it, of course, could be worn in a travel situation. A review is not complete without talking about the price. As of 2023, this watch retails for $57,000, but you can buy it at jazztime.com for around $40,000. That's 30% off, making it the most heavily discounted watches that Patek makes for men. You would be saving $17,000 buying this watch from JazzTime as opposed to an authorized dealer. So for this 5524G, it makes quite a value proposition. If you ask me, there's no point in chasing hype watches that are trading for way over retail. Go for whatever suits you and catches your eye, and if that happens to be a watch that sells for under retail, then all the better. This Pilot's Patek is exactly that. And also think about this, this watch is white gold, and one of the benefits of white gold is that not a lot of people are going to be staring at your wrist. Pateks are very undercover watches. They look fantastic and they don't draw a lot of attention, and this watch does exactly that. People might not even know that this is a Patek, so you have a much less chance of, for example, getting robbed, right? So if you're standing next to someone with a Rolex, he'll probably get robbed and you'll be out of there with your Patek. So that's another benefit of this watch. So anyways, I'm a fan of it. I like it a lot. I think it's great. This one or the new chronograph version, both are very good. Look, if you would like to buy it, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.